Hello everyone, my name is Paul Third, and this week I want to see if I can answer probably the most asked question that I get asked.
Which is the best vocal compressor plugin?
Now, this isn't a very easy answer, right? Well, I suppose it is kind of an easy answer. The answer is there isn't such a thing. I'm sorry to break all of your hearts, but there is no such thing as a perfect compressor for every vocalist. That's why we have so many different compressors and microphones and guitars and blah, 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 blah. It's because they all have their own sound. I get very frustrated. Actually, it's very frustrated, unbelievably frustrated with YouTube just now, because there's all of these videos from YouTubers talking about like this 16 grand vocal chain. And it's all bullshit because you are not mixing Beyonce, you're not mixing Jay-Z, you're not mixing Kanye West, you're not mixing all of these artists, okay? So why kind of like watch all these videos and go,
oh my god, I need a tube tech CL1B. Oh my god, look, I need an Avalon. Oh my god, I need a stay level. Oh, I need an LE2A.
and this is what leads to all the confusion and why so many people ask me and others' opinions, because they're like, there's just so much choice and so many engineers that I like that use these compressors and this compressor and that compressor and that compressor, and it gets very confusing. My advice is simplify it for yourself and try and find vocal compressors that have certain sounds. Now, I use 3 timp petherick compressors. I don't need to like describe why I use timp petherick. You can watch all those videos. Now, what I do is I have a stay level, his stay level, which is his vari level, his opto 32, which is an LE2A and an LE3A if you choose, but I use the LE2A. And lastly, his RA6, which is his sampled BA-6A. Now, why these 3 specific compressors? I'll let you listen for yourself.
You can turn a bad day into a party. How you still love me is a miracle. And if I had to do it all over, you know I would choose you every time. I wanna try to make you feel all my love, my one and only. You take my lonely, you take my lonely. You can turn a bad day into a party. How you still love me is a miracle. And if I had to do it all over, you know I would choose you every time. I wanna try to make you feel all my love, my one and only. You take my lonely, you take my lonely. You can turn a bad day into a party. How you still love me is a miracle. And if I had to do it all over, you know I would choose you every time. I wanna try to make you feel all my love, my one and only. You take my lonely, you take my lonely. You can turn a bad day into a party. How you still love me is a miracle. And if I had to do it all over, you know I would choose you every time. I wanna try to make you feel all my love, my one and only. You take my lonely, you take my lonely.
Right, so in every mix, I'm going to give myself an option of either a solid, weighty, clean-ish vocal, just very solid and just kind of sits right in front of the mix, or I'm going to give myself a vocal compressor that's going to kind of give me almost like a tilt EQ. So I've got lows kind of boosted and the highs are kind of rolled off, and I've pushed it in a way where I'm getting quite a lot of harmonic saturation. So it's giving me a warm sound, which works really well on thin vocals, female vocals and stuff like that, especially female vocals quite a lot. Doesn't really work on male vocals a lot, but again, it has its place and it's dependent on every mix and dependent on every singer And lastly, I have got a option for giving me a little bit of what I class as clean grit. The RA6, which is the BA-6A, just in this mix gives me this depth that really suits the mix. What I mean by depth is it's not as forward as the other two, and tonally it just sits and blends really well into the track. It's kind of sitting forward. It's got enough mid-forward character to sit forward enough, but it's not kind of too forward. I think the other two vocals sit quite proud, and I think in this mix and just the way, it's a very, very well recorded mix, but I just feel that the BA-6A just kind of sits back into the mix a little bit, and it glues and kind of melts into the mix a little bit. You might have different preferences, and that is why you give yourself options, so you can have 3 different styles of compressors that can work better on a certain vocal in the context of a certain mix. Now, you don't need to do 3, you could do 4, you could do 5, you could do 6. It's entirely up to you. I do 3 because I think it's a good number. It doesn't overly confuse everything, and I've given myself kind of 3 different characteristics that I think will work for kind of most mixes and most vocalists that I do. Now, when you're doing this, I do suggest that you kind of do a little bit of research behind the compressors before you try them out. You can just use your ears, right? Like what I do a lot of the time, but I do combine that with Plug-in Doctor. I do combine that with sweeps and stuff like that, just so I can have a better understanding of where the limitations are in the saturation, how much saturation it makes, what kind of saturation it makes, the characteristics of the compressors, where the harmonics sit. Is it low order harmonics? Is it high order harmonics? How does just running through the compressor affect the source? Does it affect the linear frequency response? Is the frequency response flatter just by running through the compressor? Are you going to tonally change the vocal? All great things that you could use to your advantage in finding the best vocal compressor for a specific vocalist in a specific mix. And there you have it. That is how I choose my vocal compressors for every single mix that I do. And to give you kind of some final context to kind of hear how it sounds in the overall mix. Now, this is just a mix that I picked up yesterday, and I spent about, I don't know, maybe 3-4 hours on it. So it's still kind of a rough mix, but I'm going to try and put the chorus in. I don't know if it's going to get copyrighted. If it does get copyrighted, then this video is just it's just going to abruptly end. But if it does get copyrighted, then what I will do is I will put the mixes up on SoundCloud so you can listen to them in your leisure. They're not finished mixes, but I think for 4 hours, I'm quite happy with the results of the mix. Right, so without further ado, I'll end the video. My name's Paul Third. Please let me know your comments, what vocal compressors you use, what vocal compressors you actually preferred in solo and also in the context of the mix as well. Hopefully I'll be able to end the video with just the chorus, with kind of everything kind of in the mix, and just so you can hear kind of the vocal in context. If not, just go on SoundCloud. There'll be a link in the description. My name is Paul Third. Have a great week, and I'll see you again.
You can turn a bad day